Hello. Welcome to the Skeins of Dreams Knitting Podcast. I'm Megha, and I'm also known as Skeins of Dreams on Instagram and on Ravelry. And this is the corner of YouTube where I come to share all my knitting and making journey with all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for checking out my video. If you're a new or a returning viewer, so glad to have you here. Thank you so much for all your support. And before I start off, thank you so much for all of the beautiful comments on my previous video. I feel a little spoiled. Like, this community has been so generous and so encouraging. I'm so glad that I got this opportunity to like interact with all of you, and I'm deeply thankful for all your love and support. And thank you so much. Like, I'm pretty much speechless. I got such lovely comments. Some of them made me cry. It was a really beautiful response to my video. And if you haven't checked out my previous video, and this is the first video you're watching, I was just getting a little sappy about the future of this podcast, and everyone was so supporting and encouraging, and I really enjoyed and loved every single message I got. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Um, I'm back. It's been I think 3 weeks since my last episode, and I decided I will record one this weekend. I think is it the 10th? Yes, it's the 10th of September, and I realized that if I don't record this weekend, I will have to wait until after the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival. So those of you who didn't check, I think I mentioned it in my last episode or the one before that, I don't remember. October 1st and 2nd is the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival, and I'm driving up there to, I think it's called Tunbridge. It's about a 10-hour drive from where I live. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it's about a 10 hours drive. The festival is on Saturday and Sunday, so I'm taking Friday off, driving up to Vermont, meeting a couple of friends. We've got an Airbnb together, and I'm super excited about that festival. So this was the last weekend I can record, because a bunch of things are happening in the coming weeks, and so I decided I'd record today. And then the next episode you'll see me is after the festival with all my yarn purchases. Hopefully there aren't too many of those. We'll see when I get back. But yeah, so a lot of things are happening, and there is a bit of a chill in the air, at least in the mornings here. So definitely fall is approaching, and it's everyone's favorite time of the year. And so and it's the same for me. I love spring and fall a lot. So yeah, so we're all getting up for sweater weather basically. But yeah, so as soon as I started, I quickly said a lot of things. So yeah, I'm here to give you an update about all my knitting. I have finished one thing, and I have cast on a few other things. As you know, that's how it goes with me. I've made a bunch of progress on my current whips, so I thought I'd give you an update, because the next time we'll see each other is after the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival. So thank you so much for being here, and I think we should get started with the knitting content. I hope I'm not forgetting anything else admin, but I never prepare for these videos that I make. I just come, turn on the camera, and what comes out is what comes out. Last episode I had definitely had COVID brain, totally like mind fog kind of situation. I was saying something, I meant something else, and I couldn't string words together. But I think hopefully this episode goes a little better, fingers crossed, but we'll see about that. um, so yeah, I have a bunch of acquisitions. I have finished object only one finished object, which I think you can tell what I'm wearing today. But yeah, so I think we should move on to the knitting content, and start with finished objects. So as you can see, I have finished my Gaia cardigan. This is a design by Agatha, who's known as Amanita Knits on Instagram and on Ravelry. And I had test knit this cardigan for her. The test knit started sometime in May, and I took more than 3 months to finish this tiny little cardigan. I have no idea why. It's one of those projects which you feel like it shouldn't take you that long, but it just ends up taking you forever. Believe me, the cardigan is completely worth it. It's beautiful. I'm so happy that I made this and that I picked this particular yarn for it. And I think I should probably stand up and show you a bit more, so you can see better, and then we'll talk more about it. Hold on. So I have paired this cardigan with this beautiful butterfly dress. I made the dress as well, and I made the cardigan. So this is a completely handmade outfit. Um, so as you can see, this is the main feature of this beautiful cardigan. I just love the lace details so much on this, and I made the cardigan version. There is a pullover version as well. I made it a little cropped. It sits at my natural waist, and I really wanted to pair it with dresses, and that's what I did. I did not put any button holes on this, and I will tell you why. But yeah, so I think you've seen what the cardigan looks like. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I there was a break between me shooting the last bit of the video and this one, because we had today Saturday, and usually Saturday mornings we spend talking to family back in India, and so they called, so I had to like leave. But yeah, so I showed you how the cardigan looks. I stood up and everything. So the yarn is Camellia Fiber Company Merino Sport in the color Dahlia. I really love the color. It turned out really beautifully. I did alternate skeins a bit wherever possible. If it wasn't possible, just because of during the lace section, like alternating is not always um, easy or whatever. So for the sleeves, I didn't alternate skeins. There is a little difference in the sleeves and the body, but it doesn't bother me as much. The dye job is pretty nice. And wherever I couldn't alternate skeins, when I start the second one, I start the second one such that I alternate skeins at least the last few rounds of the first skein, and I'll start adding the second skein. I'll alternate the two skeins, and then the first one will finish, and then I'll continue with the second one. So someone's mowing their lawn. I hope you can't hear it much, but when I'm editing, I probably will remove the background noise, so it shouldn't be an issue, hopefully. I ordered actually a cute little clasp to hold this cardigan together. I really didn't feel like adding buttons to it because I don't see myself buttoning up the cardigan completely. I thought a clasp will be cute to just hold it together if I need it. So the one thing about this cardigan is the neck is pretty wide, and if I were to make this next time, I would make the pullover version, because I looked at other people's version of the pullover, and it sits really nicely and it looks really good. The cardigan sits, I don't feel it falls off, but I just feel like if I had to wear something with a wide, like a higher neck, it would look a little odd. So I think this dress, I'm just getting away with it. But other than that, I think I would need something to hold it here so it doesn't fall off. And that's why I ordered the clasp. And I didn't really put any buttonholes in it. I never button my cardigans, and I feel like the holes get bigger. I need to do it properly, as in I would like to at some point make a cardigan in which I sew down a ribbon on both sides of the button band and the one with the buttonholes as well. So to do it on the side of the buttonholes, to sew a ribbon down, I'll have to make buttonholes in the ribbon as well. So it needs a little more planning, and I haven't done it yet, but it is on my to-do list because I want to try it once, because I don't like when the buttonholes in the knitted garment, they become bigger and bigger, and it's not, I don't I it bugs me, it bothers me a lot. So I want to do it properly, like sew down a ribbon and everything. So this yarn, because it's so delicate, I didn't really want to make buttonholes and have them become bigger. So I thought a clasp would be nice. I do think that this is a little bigger than I would like. I want a smaller clasp. I do love this dragonfly one, but I think I might get another smaller one so it doesn't like show like a huge ornament right in the center. So yeah, other than that, I had to knit this in sport weight because the gauge is pretty tight, and I couldn't achieve that in fingering weight yarn. Even though I think I'm noticing this difference between me being a continental knitter and when I test knit for someone who is an English knitter. They seem to be tighter on the gauge. So for example, Agatha was able to get this 26 stitches on fingering weight with US 4 or 5, and I there was no way I got it. So I actually knit the body in 2.5 US 2.5, and I knit the sleeves in US 1.5. So it was almost like sock knitting the sleeves, and I'm thankful I actually made, like, even in the main version it's not a full sleeve, it's like a 3/4 length sleeve. I really like that. It makes it a very nice spring, summer, fall garment. So just to throw it on when the evenings are chilly or something, and really tiny so you can put it in your bag easily. It's not a bulky cardigan. So yeah, I didn't make it with as much ease as suggested. I usually do this. I make it with ease that I am happy with, positive ease that I want. And then what I had to do was make sure my armhole was wide enough for my size. So I had to knit extra, because the way it's knit is you first, and I spoke about this quite a bit in the videos that, like, previous videos where this is a work in progress. So you knit this panel first, the lace bit, then you pick up stitches along the edge here, along the edge here, and you knit the two fronts, and you pick up stitches on the other side of the edge, cast on for your back, and then you knit the back until your armhole meets, and then you join everything and knit the body. So this construction is there in a lot of top down drop shoulder type um, garments, and I have knit a few garments that have this construction. Now while I'm happy always with how they fit, I do I do want to try a saddle shoulder, not a saddle shoulder, a set in sleeve ones, because I have a lot of drop shoulder in my wardrobe and they are this comfortable, easy fit, but I do want a smart looking cardigan that's not so much oversized or whatever, but like fits me well, and sits on my shoulders properly. So I feel like I'm ready to try other constructions of garment. Not always stick to the same raglans and drop shoulders, but I think I need to do a few more different ones. And I think one of the works in progress I have is it's like a saddle shoulder modified with set in sleeve kind of a construction, and I'm really looking forward to see it all come together so I know how it fits me and whether I like it more than the drop shoulder ones. Like, this looks really pretty, everything is nice, but sometimes, when I take pictures and the garment folds like this, I'm like, I don't know, I don't know if I like it so much. And I think it looks better on people who don't have heavy bust, because it just like falls, the drape is better. But when you have like a heavy bust, then obviously your bust is in the way of the drape and everything. So um, not saying it is terrible. I have so many of them, and some of my favorite cardigans are drop shoulders because they just like so easy to wear, and they do look elegant. I would say I do want to just try other constructions. Why not? Why limit yourself to one type of stuff? Okay, I think I've spoken a lot about this cardigan. I hope I have answered all the questions you might have on this. Um, if you have any other questions, always feel free to reach out, let me know, and I can clarify. Um, no worries at all. So yeah, so that is my finished Gaia cardigan. I'm so happy it's done. I don't know why it took me so long, but I'm so happy it's done. Um, I think we should move on to my works in progress because there are a lot. Let's get started with the beautiful Cargill sweater. So this is a design by Rebecca, who's known as Creya Bea everywhere on the internet, and it's her first design that I'm test knitting, and it's glorious. I have finished knitting the body. I'm going to start doing the ribbing now. This texture is beautiful. It is so squishy. I have tried it on. It looks really nice. I don't have a nice, delicate, light colored sweater like this, I don't think, in my wardrobe. I usually go for a lot of moody tonals and darker colors, but I'm so pleased with how elegant this looks. Um, I'm knitting this in um, Camijo knit yarn. So Camilla dyes beautiful yarn. I'm obsessed with all her colorways. And this is her Camijo sock base. And this is the color Petals. It is in lovely lavender with this gorgeous yellow speckles on it. And I'm holding it together with Knitting for Olive mohair in the powder colorway. So I'm holding these two together, and I had swatched with a lot of other yarns, but this gave me the best stitch definition, and I'm super pleased with how this is turning out. I don't want it to be a super long cardigan, so I think I have about 10 inches done on the body. Cardigan, no, I don't want it to be a super long sweater because I do want to wear it with skirts and dresses as well. So I want it to be the size which is just enough for wearing with jeans and just enough for wearing with skirts and dresses. So this is about 10 inches now from the armhole, and I have to do the ribbing, which will be like a inch and a half. Should be enough for me. And I have been observing that all of my garments, once I block, they get longer, so I don't want to knit too much more. And then I have the sleeves to do. Now the cardigan, why do I keep saying cardigan? The test knit will finish or will end of this month, so end of September. So I have a few weeks. I have at least 2 weeks to finish knitting and then block it and take pictures and all of that. So I really want to get this done, and um I made a lot of progress just in the last couple of days. So I'm looking forward to getting this done. Usually, even though I feel like sleeves are, I don't know, I don't hate sleeves, but I'm just impatient to get the sweater done. But the sleeves don't take me that long, usually, and the now by this time everyone has memorized the pattern repeat, so I don't, and there are no decreases in the sleeve, so the sleeve goes on straight, and then you cinch in for the cuff, so it should be easy. I don't even have to look at decreases and remember all of that, so I'm just gonna knit the sleeves straight, so that should be easier. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting more done and to finishing up this beautiful sweater and get it ready for the release. Uh, that was quickly the progress on my Cargill sweater. I don't think I have anything else to say on it. I mean, you're all watching Rebecca's podcast and she's talking about the sweater as well. So I'm super happy with how the fit is, and all the math worked out really well for my size. And I can't wait to finish it and show it to all of you. So definitely watch this space. Okay, so the next test knit I'm doing is for Jennifer Parocchini, who is JP Knits Things on Instagram. And Jennifer has very, very unique and very detailed designs fit wise. She does a lot of amazing knitting math, I suppose, because the construction of a lot of her garments is just, it's just amazing how much detail there is. So I'm knitting this cardigan for as a test knit for her, and I have finished all the knitting on the body, and I will show you the body. So this cardigan is knit in panels. I have finished knitting all the body pieces. I have to actually pick up stitches and kind of join them together. So this is the center back, and I'm trying to find the right piece that goes with it. So this is like side back, so I will have to pick up stitches along the edge. Oops, where did it go? So I'll have to pick up stitches along the edge of this and along the edge of that, and do 3 needle bind off to kind of hold it together. So that I have, if you can tell by how this is looking now, is I have washed and blocked these pieces, because I had to block them, pin block them, to get them to be the right length and everything, so that picking up stitches is going to be a cakewalk basically. And I have all the pieces required for the body. So for example, this is the piece that goes, it'll go here on the left side, and it has pocket as well, so I have to attach the pocket to this, and it is like an inline pocket, and it has all the raglan shaping, everything done. So I have to pick up stitches along this edge and then join them to the front. So I'll show you a front piece. So this is a piece for the front, so it will sit right here, and then I'll have to pick up stitches here to do the button or the zipper band. I think I'm gonna put a zipper on this. I think it just looks like one of those sweatshirty cardigans that could do well with a zipper. So I'm gonna add zipper to this. So I have to buy the zipper and I have to attach all these pieces. So basically what I'm saying is I finished knitting and washing and blocking all the pieces of the body. I have to sit one evening, get like a cup of tea or a glass of wine, and I have to finish putting these all together. It shouldn't take me too long. It's one of those things you take longer to get to it than to actually do it. Like it's just a mental block that, oh my god, I have to like do 3 needle bind off, I have to pick up stitches. I don't hate picking up stitches, so I think I should be able to get it done very quickly. It's just that getting to it is like a larger task. Now I've started doing the sleeve knitting, and this is the beautiful sleeve that goes onto this sweater. And this sleeve is actually knit flat in the way Jennifer writes it, but I decided to knit it in the round. It was just simple enough to not read the chart. You know how they have the chart and then you have to read from the other side when you're knitting the wrong side, but if you're knitting in the round, you just need read it from the same end, from right to left. And that's what I'm doing. I just modified it to knit it in the round. I asked Jennifer if she's okay with me doing that modification, because the sleeve is knit flat and then seamed up the edge, and I'm like, I don't want to do sleeve seaming. I mean, I can just knit it in the round, so I'm doing that. I've just started the first sleeve. It is beautiful, and I'm doing all the increases. It looks like an armor. I love it. And then you do the, once you get to the underarm, you cast off stitches for the underarm, and then you do a sleeve cap, and you will do, I think, short rows and binding off and all of that to get like the sleeve cap to come up, and it will have a saddle piece on top. So this is what I meant by a combination of satin sleeve with some saddle shoulder elements to it. I feel like I'm keep going on um, pulling at this cardigan, but I do need it today. It's a little chilly in the house, so I'm happy I have this on. But I this is the first time I'm wearing it for a while, so I can tell that it's a little bit off my shoulders. Maybe I might add afterthought button and everything to just like hold it together, or just buy a smaller clasp. We'll see. But anyway, I was talking about this sweater is called Forest Finds. I don't know why I never mentioned the name and then I just keep talking about it. I'm knitting this in this gorgeous deep wine burgundy color. This yarn is Primrose Yarn Company. The base is called Rowan DK and the color is called Zodiac. I love how this looks, and this is a true representation of this yarn. I hope I'm able to take good pictures of this because as you can see, it's such a dark yarn that the texture is kind of like, I mean, it's visible, but I need to take, once I finish the whole garment, I need to take good pictures so that I can actually um, show it in all its glory and everything. So I need to get creative about that. So yeah, so that is my progress on the forest finds. I finished all the body pieces. I have to join them together. I washed and blocked. It took like a couple of days for it to dry. And then I started knitting on the sleeve. The sleeve again shouldn't take me long. It's a DK weight textured thing, but it's easy to memorize. I have figured out what the pattern is. Next week, actually, my husband and I were traveling to Dallas to visit my best friend, her husband, and their beautiful little baby. I went there last December, and I don't know if you've been around for a while, you've seen I made like a granny square blanket that I gifted, and it's the same friend I'm visiting. This time around, I didn't knit anything for the baby, but I think I'm gonna sew a couple of dresses this weekend. I mean, baby sewing should be easy, right? I mean, it's they're in Dallas. It's not too cold there right now, and I I thought I should try some baby sewing because I'm also going to India later this year. I'm going to India 3 weeks in November and December, so I'll go around the end of November and come back mid December. I'm really excited about this trip because since our wedding 2.5 years ago, just before the pandemic hit, like we had a wedding in India and we got back, and 2 days later the world shut down. It was that close. We just made it back in time. But that it has been 2.5 years since we saw our families. We haven't been back to India, so we are going finally in November, and I'm so excited. I hope everything goes as planned. But I have nieces and nephews I've not met because they've been born in the last couple years. And I want to take stuff back for them. I was thinking if I should knit something. It's always kind of tricky gifting woolly stuff to people in India because the winter is not as severe there. I should do maybe fingering weight stuff, but I don't know. Fingering weight sweaters for babies. I mean, they'll still be quicker than adult stuff, but I don't know. I prefer I prefer DK or worsted, and it's not as cold in India to wear DK or worsted sweaters. So anyway, I'm thinking I might do some sewing for my nieces and nephews, but we'll see. Obviously, I'll talk about it on the podcast, so you will see as well. I'm super excited about the India trip because I totally plan to. We are doing a few trips within the country, like we're actually going on vacation while we're in India, as in we're going to places we've never been before, and to just be like to just see those places. It feels like when we were growing up, we're always like in school or studying, and like we never actually went on proper vacations. And now that we're grown up and we have our own money, we can do actual vacations. So we're really excited to do some traveling within India, and I'm gonna take my phone everywhere with me. So I'm gonna get a lot of videos, and I really want to do like I might do like a knit and chat episode where I'm just knitting and talking about my trip, and then showing you pictures or videos from India from the eyes of an actual Indian, right? Like a lot of times I feel like movies portray other countries, like Western movies portray other countries in a certain way, you know. All your terrorists are always Russians or Turkish, and India is full of slums, and that's all they try, the Western media, that's all they show. But if you actually talk to people from those countries, that's just one aspect of a whole thing, and it bugs me sometimes. So I have not watched Western portrayal of India. Like, I've not watched movies like Slumdog Millionaire, which everybody talks about, because I'm like, you literally took the one negative aspect and made like a huge movie about it, and it got an Oscar and whatever. But I mean, you don't bother about the nicer stuff about the country, right? So anyway, I'm going off on a rant about how countries are portrayed, but that's besides the point. I'm excited about my trip, and I'm gonna do like a video about my trip to India, and I'm super excited about that. I don't know how I got there. Oh yeah, sewing for my friend's baby, trip coming up next week, going to Dallas. My point was, I'm gonna take the sleeve with me because it's like knit separately. It's an easy travel project, and I'm gonna finish it. Hopefully, I'll get time to finish it while I'm there. But we're mostly there to spend time with our friends, and so I might not get as much knitting done. So I'm actually like being very productive now up until the trip, so that I'm not pressurized to finish my test knits while I'm on the trip. But yeah, we're going there next week, and I'm super excited about that. And this friend of mine, she's my best friend from undergrad. We were joined at the hip during the 4 years of undergrad. I practically lived with her in her house because she lived closer to the university. So it was just easier during exam time and everything to just crash at her place and then go for the exam the next day morning, because I lived pretty far away from the university. So I lived in her house so much, like her family is basically my family. So we're very close, and she was living in California for a really long time, and it is really hard to actually travel back and forth from the east coast of US to the west coast, because it's just, there's a lot of time difference, and it's a long flight. But now she lives closer. It's just a 3-hour flight direct, and I'm super excited that we're a bit closer so we can see each other more than once a year. um, and now that she has a baby, it's even more fun to watch her. Like, we've been friends for 15 years now, so it's so cool to watch her and her husband move into the next stage of their lives. So um, I'm obviously here for that. And even though we're friends, like Baljeet and her husband, they get along really well. So we're so happy about that, because it's always kind of like you're always nervous about it. Like, if your best friend's partner will like your partner as much and everything. But I think because you think alike with your friends, like their partners also kind of end up being about the same kind of people, and so it usually works out. And we're very happy that it worked out with the four of us. But yeah, so that is happening next week, and I'm trying to finish all my test nets before I go there. Not finish them, but like make enough progress. All right, so what's next? uh I have another testnet. It's kind of a testnet, but I think it's a little more low key than these two. Camilla, who is Cami Joan Knit Designs, and she has a podcast, and she has a yarn dyeing business, and she makes really, really beautiful designs, like garment and patterns and everything, and she releases them on Ravelry and everything. She, on her podcast, she was making this new cardigan, and she was showing it on her podcast, and I absolutely fell in love with that. And I texted her and I was like, Camilla, I need to knit this. When is the pattern coming out? Are you doing a test knit? Can I test knit? Can I knit it first? Like, basically totally fawning over the pattern. And she's super, super nice. She gave me a discount on the yarn, and I placed an order from her for the yarn, because She knitted in this special base that she carries on in her shop. It's called Mega Mohair, and this base is basically 78% kid mohair, 13% merino, and 9% nylon. And it's almost like an Aran weight fuzzy thing. And she dyed this special color for me. She asked me what color I wanted, and I could pick from all her choices on her website. So I picked this beautiful sugar pine color. You can see all the greens today. Like, I'm going green crazy, definitely. So you can tell that I clearly like deep greens. And this year I did even lime greens. I'm in a green mood. So this is the yarn. You can see that this is a very thick. Let me do this. So this is mohair and that is mega mohair. You can see there is a lot of difference in the, oops, I think I'm gonna drop everything, my whole setup. Anyway, so that is the difference in the two yarns, and the mega mohair is so much thicker than regular mohair. Um, So this is the beautiful yarn that I'm knitting with. And if you've seen Camilla's episode, she's already finished her cardigan, and I just cast on. It has this. I hope I can show it to you. It's so fuzzy. I think if I get more, um, okay, there, maybe that's better. So I just started it. I did the one repeat. It's a very lacy, overall lace cardigan. Yep, so you can barely see the lace repeat. If once it gets done a bit more, I think it'll be visible. And if I steam block it, it might show up. But right now, I don't think it's showing up. I can see it in person, but it's not showing up so much on the camera. I think that's about it. So it's this diamond, so it's called Mega Diamonds cardigan. I'm so terrible, I should know the name of it. I think she was still deciding on the name of it. I don't know if she is um, completely agreed on the name, but it's a bottom up cardigan. So I cast on for the body, and it's knit on US 10. So US 10 is 6 millimeter needles. Um, and I have started the beautiful cardigan. I love this green so much. It's going with everything. Like I'm in a green phase. Um, yeah. So I started this cardigan last week, but I didn't knit as much on it because I was trying to finish some of the other things. And because it's on US 10, I think I'll get done with it pretty quickly. Each ball of this yarn is 200 meters, so just around iron weight, and you only need three for a cardigan of in my size, so that's pretty amazing, and it's knit on US 10. Now I had issues with this project, not because of the yarn or anything or the pattern, but because of these dumb needles. So these are my interchangeable Addy clicks, and I'm not kidding. This, I would start knitting, I cast on 2 or 3 times, and the needle would twist out of the cord, and then I would lose a bunch of stitches. Then I would rip it, and ripping this yarn is not the easiest because it's so sticky. And then I had to cast on again, and I had to start it all over again, and then it would twist out and open, and it was a disaster. Finally, after about a few times of this happening, I got so mad, I took super glue and I glued my needle to the cord. And now it's never coming out. I think I have a bunch of interchangeable needle sets. I have the one from Knit Picks. I think they're similar to maybe Knit Pro. I don't know. The Knit Picks ones are like screw ones. I have the Addy Clicks. Then I have Licky needles because I needed one set which was wooden. The Licky is also screw. This one is a click one. It's a weird twist and click kind of a thing. This does not work for me. The Licky ones and the Knit Picks one, has the screw and they have a key so you can tighten the screw. They work really well for me. They have never come off, but these are really irritating, and I've had them for a while. I bought them maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. So it's funny, some needles are okay with it, but some needle sizes are not okay with it. Like they keep twisting out. But I got really sick of this and I like super glued it in rage, basically. But that is why I had so much issue starting this project, is just because of the needle. But now I've since I super glued it, it's super easy. Now I'm knitting it, no problem. I'm trying to get like more done on this, though it's like on US 10 and I knit this so easily, this much. I wish you could see it, but I think it'll need more repeats for the pattern to show. Also, I don't know if the wall and just the lighting is working out, but I will make more progress and get more pictures. I'm so excited about this. This yarn is very soft. It's going to be a really nice um, cardigan to throw over. I'm sure I'm gonna reach for it really easily, and I love the color so much. So thank you so much, Camilla, for letting me knit this, and I'm really excited to get more done on it. Uh, so that is 3 test knits, and I still cast on. Of course, I cast on. I finished one project like this one, and then I started looking at everyone doing color work and I was like, I want to do color work again. And I actually calculated the last time I did color work was like 4 months ago. During the summer, I did not do any color work, obviously, because usually you do it in natural wool and everything, and summertime is not the time to wear natural wool. So I really wanted to cast on, but I was trying to be nice or good about it, and I didn't want to cast on something because I have all these test knits going. But I was like, maybe I'll just cast on a little bit so that as soon as I finish one project, I can start working on the color work thing. So I've only done like maybe 4 hours of work on this one project, and instead of casting on a completely new pattern, I looked actually at my knitting bingo. So I had mentioned a couple of episodes ago that I did a knitting bingo earlier this year. Like in January, I set intentions for the rest of the year, and I've been really good. Like I have made a bunch of things that um, are part of the plan that I had in January for this year. So I crossed those out on my knitting bingo, and it's a lot of fun to do that. And a few projects when I finish, I'll actually get more things completed from the bingo. So one of the things on the bingo was to finish an old project. So hold on, I'll show you which project. Right, so one of the squares on my knitting bingo said to actually complete an older project. So one of the things that I really loved that I was knitting on last year but I didn't finish is this beautiful Birkin sweater. This is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, who is Boyland Knitworks, and this is a very popular sweater pattern. She does it in multicolors, but I decided to do it in like 2 colors only. Now, the thing is, this is the original Birkin that Caitlin designed, does not have any increases in the colorwork section. So you do a bunch of increases from the neck to the first row of the colorwork, then you do this entire colorwork, and then you do increases after the colorwork. Now what that does is it creates a whole band of fabric that has no increases. So what it does is it doesn't, like, your body is not like that. It's not like you can't have a bunch of this portion, this much portion, and there's no increase in the stitches. It doesn't make sense. And a lot of people had issues with when you lift your arms, like the entire sweater would go up. And so Caitlin decided to do a pattern update, and she actually incorporated increases, redid all the colorwork charts, and now it's, instead of one chart for all sizes, there are charts. There's like one chart for sizes 1 and 2, one chart for 3 and 4, one for 5 and 6, and like that. So she made increases in the colorwork section so that the yoke fits better. Now, the pattern was changed and updated, but you know how in Ravelry you're supposed to hit update, and that's when the pattern updates. I felt like I did it, and I did update the pattern on Ravelry, but what happened is I used the Knit Companion app on my phone, and it's a really nice app to keep track of where you left the project, especially someone like me who works on a million things at a time. I always forget where I last was, but like the Knit Companion app is really helpful in doing that and like keeping track of what I did. I can add notes on it, I can track progress and things like that. And I tried to download the updated version, like the new version, but I don't think the app did it. Something happened, and I thought I was working with the updated version, but I wasn't. And because I had never seen the updated version, I didn't know what was different from the previous version. So in all this confusion, I knit the entire yoke using the old pattern. I actually also knit a lot of the sleeve. This is the sleeve. I was trying to knit it straight and then do like a singed cuff. That's why the sleeve looks this big. But when I tried it on, because I started knitting the sleeve, I could tell it doesn't fit really well. And then I looked at the pattern and I realized I wasn't knitting from the updated pattern. So then this went into like a abandoned corner. I was like, I don't know what to do. Do I rip back? And then a year has gone by, and I was like, I took this out and I was like, I really want to knit the Birkin. And then I realized, looked at, I have a lot of this rust color yarn, and if you remember, I wanted to actually make this into a tunic because I have so much of the yarn and I don't want to like um, use only a part of it. I wanted to keep it all together. But then I was like, you know what? I really like this sweater pattern, like florals and leaves and everything. They are totally my jam. I want to wear this sweater a lot, but this Rama yarn is like 100% Norwegian wool, and it's a pretty this is Rama Phenol PT2, and it's a very like a rusty wool. It's, I mean, I don't have issues with it against skin and everything, but I in Buffalo I could wear it a lot, but I don't know how extreme. I don't remember actually. I lived in Pittsburgh 4 years for 4 years when I was in school, but I don't remember how cold it goes, and I'm not sure that I'll end up using this as much as I want to because it's such warm yarn and fabric, and also the color work makes it like denser. So I thought about it and I decided I'm going to frog this, but I didn't actually frog it because I wanted to show it to you. And I'm going to come up with something else to do with this yarn. I decided to start this pattern freshly again, using a different yarn, which was actually in a different project, which I actually frogged. All to say, I had two whips, I combined them into one. I think that's fair enough to say that I'm working on an old whip. I cheekily cast on, but I would call it working on an old whip because I'm re-knitting the pattern. So now I did cast on, and this is going to be my new Birkin. I'm just about starting the color work, and it is looking really nice. Hold on, let me see if I can show it better. Yep, so that's just the tiny beginnings. Like I said, I didn't work on it all that much because I'm trying to be good and work more on my test knits. And then just when I need a break from that, I just pick this up, do a couple of rounds and let it go. So this is the beginning of my new Birkin. Now, this yarn is actually my birthday yarn from last year. So I do this thing where every year for my birthday, when I get like cash or something from friends or from my family or from Mr. Schemes of Dreams, I save it up and I buy fancy yarn. So this is La Bien-Aimée and their Mondim base. So Mondim is actually a base by the Rosa Pomar line. So they had a collaboration where La Bien-Aimée was taking Rosa Pomar Mondim base and then dyeing it in their colors. So this color is called Caramel, and this is amazing. Look, just I love this wall to portray yarn, which is not green. But if it's green, I think it clashes, but if it's not green, it looks beautiful. Okay, so this is exactly how the yarn looks, and I'm using this as my main color. And this is my contrast, which is just Pearl Soho Good Wool. I've had it for a while. This is like that skein that never ends. Wherever I need like a fingering or sport weight contrast color that's like oatmeal, I just use this, and then it, like, whatever, it's still there. I use it for a different project, so this skein kind of like goes across projects, and it's a little bit here, a little bit there, but it's very soft. I really love this base, and I really love this just neutral oatmeal color. So this is what my new Birkin will be in. I want to get this one done and actually wear it this winter, because I have sat on the Birkin for so long. Like, I really wanted that pattern, but I was always discouraged from knitting it because of the fit issues. Now that the update happened, but then I messed up. So now I'm like, I need to knit this. So that is the progress I made on Birkin. All right. I feel like I need a break. Get some water. I've been talking at the speed of light. Not really, but maybe a little. And I actually have another work in progress. So let's talk about that. Okay, so my next work in progress is actually a sock project. It's been a while since I knit a sock. I knit socks every one pair every month for 2 years straight, starting during the pandemic. And now Mr. Skeins of Dreams and I have a lot of pairs of socks, so we don't really need more pairs. So I knit whenever I have to gift it to someone, or when I find a pattern that is like so beautiful that I absolutely must have it. I have a bunch of sock yarn, so I don't really buy sock yarn anymore. And if I have yarn left over from other projects, something, so I then knit the sock. I have sock yarn in stash mostly because suddenly it'll be like 1 month to Christmas or whatever, and I need to gift something to a friend, and then I'm like, okay, I'll make a pair of socks. So my friend Anina from Anioti Knits podcast has a bunch of beautiful designs available on Ravelry. She does kid sweaters and socks and colorwork socks and so many beautiful things. And she recently released adult sweater pattern as well, the Payu. And she came out with this sock pattern pretty recently. It's called the Oh Honey socks, and it's got beautiful honeycomb structure through the leg. Why am I talking without showing it to you? Because I've not done a really good job of knitting it. Anina actually has another two sock patterns coming out this fall. One is the caramel fox, and then one is the yellow sock pattern. So she has 3 total sock patterns coming out this season, and she's running a cal called the Fall of Socks Cal knit along on Instagram and everything. And I think she spoke about it on her podcast. And I love all the 3 patterns. So I'm participating in the knit along, but not that I'm not going to finish by deadline or anything, but I want to knit all these 3 um, patterns because they all like really nicely go together really well, and they're all from the same designer. And I really love Anina. She's a really good friend, and she helps me a lot with all my sewing questions because she is a seamstress by profession, or she was a seamstress by profession. She doesn't do that anymore, but she's really knowledgeable with a lot of my sewing questions because I'm just like I just taught myself in the last couple years, so I do whatever I can, but she helps me a lot with all my sewing stuff as well. So I had this really nice fade that I purchased last December. I purchased it to uh, the company is called Fuzzy Fibers, and she does these really cute fade sets. And I put one on the screen here, which is the fade set that I'm using. And I actually bought two other fade sets in different colors to gift it to a couple of friends for Christmas last year. And then I saw the mustard and mocha one, and I was like, okay, that's totally me. I need to buy this. So I bought that fade set. So you probably saw it on the screen already. I put it on the screen. Now I wanted to knit these Oh Honey socks in this fade set because it's meant to be like it's a beautiful fade set, and then the oh honey is like, the honeycomb structure and everything, and the color goes together so well. And I started knitting on the socks. So here is my progress so far, but I'm not sure I'm knitting it properly. So the issue with my sock knitting is that I'm a loose knitter, so getting tight sock gauge is very difficult for me sometimes. I use US 2.25 or 2.25 millimeter US 1 needles, and I prefer doing socks on an 80-20 base, so 80% merino, 20% nylon, 80% BFL, whichever, like only 20% nylon. When I knit with a 75-25 base, it is very difficult for me to get tight gauge for socks. This, because the 80-20 base is much loftier, so I feel like it makes nice dense socks and on a tighter gauge for me. I really don't want to go down to a US 0. I feel like I'm gonna like bend those needles, like so much pressure on my hands and everything. It does just doesn't work out for me. I actually took the fade, split it in two, and actually wound the colors on top of each other so that when I finish this dark color, the next one is right under it and things like that. And the plan was to knit the Oh Honey socks, but I'm not sure I'm knitting it properly. It's a little small cable that does the honeycomb structure, and I'm not very happy with how it's turning out. And I think it's because this is a 75-25 base. I think I will get a better result with 80-20 just because of the way I knit. And I'm not used to doing cables or color work on such small circumference. I usually just knit like a 3x1 rib sock, and that's my go-to, and it fits well and I love it, and it's just socks on my feet and I enjoy doing that. I don't really make a lot of textured socks, but Anina's patterns are so pretty. I want to make it. So I'm in a dilemma if I should continue. Sorry. I'm in a dilemma if I should continue knitting using this yarn, or if I should just knit it in a different yarn, which is an 80-20 base, when the sock will actually turn out better. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe I should send a picture to Anina and ask her if it looks okay. Her honeycomb structure looks so crisp and so beautiful. She's a really really good sock knitter. I like ribbed socks because they're easy, and I always make the same vanilla sock all the time. But this time I wanted to do something different. But anyway, I am kind of thinking about what to do about this. I've not decided. I do want to make it in this fade because the fade is so beautiful. But then I think the 75-25 is too thin for the way I knit. And I might do better with a loftier yarn. So I have to go through my stash to see if I have some nice color that I can knit the sock in instead of this one. I don't know if it's passing off as a nice honeycomb. I'm not happy with that. That looks really weird. So yeah, so that is my entry in Anina's knit along and my dilemma with the sock texture. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna and socks. I also wanted to cast on the sock before I went to Dallas because socks make an amazing travel project. Like it's so easy to knit on them in the flight and everything, and they're small and easy to manage, and put it in my carry-on purse or whatever. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about this. I will let you know. Yeah, so I think that is all my works in progress. I'm actually going to talk about two other projects that I'm going to cast on soon. Actually three, but let me just talk about it. So my neighbors, our next door neighbors, they have two kids, 8 and 9 year old. Boy is 8 year old and girl is 9 year old, and really really cute kids, very well behaved. I really like how, like, just they're very very cute. So I was like, our neighbors are really helpful. They do a lot for us, and they help us a lot, us being like new homeowners and they being a little more experienced. Whatever questions we have, we text them. They even take care of our cats when we are away. So I wanted to do something for them as a thank you, because like, they're never gonna, I cannot offer them money. That's just doesn't seem personal to me. So I decided to knit their kids a couple of sweaters. Of course, I did. I like to knit for everyone, and I like to pile myself on with more projects. So that's what I'm doing. So I have bought some Malabrigo Rios. I actually texted my neighbor and asked her what colors her kids like. And they're still in that age where the boy likes blue and the girl likes pink. The girl also likes teal, but I did not find a good teal. It was too moody, too adultish. I wanted bright colors for kids. Like, kids can wear bright colors. So I bought some Malabrigo Rios, and I'm planning to knit them sweaters. So um, I'm planning to knit a simple raglan, and I'm gonna stripe in some white with this blue. That might be nice for the boy. And for the girl, I'm planning to knit the Bean and Olive sweater by Andrea Maury. I actually test knit that sweater when it came out, I think last year, or was it the year before that. I knit it for my cousin who lives in India, and I made it in this really nice peachy pink and red for her. But I think for my neighbor's daughter, I'm gonna make it in this really beautiful um, moody pink, and I'm gonna do the color work in this white. I really like Rios for kid knits. It's very soft, because you never know. I mean, especially with kids, I don't know. I don't know if they wear rustic wool. And then I don't gift rustic wool to people who I don't know if they know how to take care of, wool. Like, you're not supposed to put it in the washer and you like wash it with hand. I don't like to impose on people unless I figure out that, unless they're close to me and I can tell them, don't put this in the washer, or I always give them whenever I gift sweaters, I also gift like a small ukulele or some sort of a wool wash, and I give instructions on how to wash, but you don't know if they always do it right. So I decided to go with superwash yarn, and it's like really soft. Don't know if the kids are going to be like, this is itchy, because I was that kid. I hated itchy sweaters. But to be honest, my mom didn't buy like really nice non-itchy wool. She bought like whatever sweater in India. I don't know. They're called half sweaters. You wear them under your actual shirt. I hated them because they would be so itchy. So I would be this kid who would not wear sweaters in the winter in the north of the country where it's actually pretty cold. I don't know how I did it as a kid, but because I hated itchy sweaters. So I was that child, and I don't want to impose on another child who I don't know how they are with rustic wool. Or I know there is non-superwash wool that is also soft. I have them in stash, but again, like I said, their parents have to wash and carefully. So I prefer superwash. Anyway, so these are the three colors. I'm super excited about this. I really want to finish like a couple of projects so I can cast these on. I'm in no hurry. There's nothing coming up. I thought I could just give them when I'm done. I first thought that I would give them for Christmas, but that's too long. I will finish them before Christmas and I'll just gift it to them. Maybe I can make them hats for Christmas. See, this is what I do. I plan like a crazy person. So yeah, so this project is happening soon. And then, of course, next month is the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. I wasn't planning on doing the Mystery Knit Along, but I was approached recently by Pearl Soho, which is this obviously famous yarn store in the US. They had a brick and mortar in New York City, but uh, they had a brick and mortar, but like during the pandemic, they shut it down and then they did not open back up. So Pearl Soho reached out to me and wanted to do like a small collaboration. They have a knit along coming up end of this month for their bandana cowl, and they messaged me saying, we would like you to participate in the knit along for the cowl. We'll send you the yarn. All you have to do is make the cowl, participate in the knit along, and put pictures on Instagram. And then they said that pick another one project and we can send you yarn for that project. And all again, you have to knit the project and then put it on Instagram and showcase the yarn basically. So obviously I jumped at this opportunity. Like, I'm totally starstruck that Pearl Soho texted me. I love that everyone knows about linen quill, and I recently finished the half and half wrap, and I'd actually knit with their yarn before. I did a cardigan called the Bonnie cardigan. Um, I knit it in good wool, one of their yarns again, and I'll put it on the screen here. So they reached out to me saying that we, know that you knit with our yarn before, and we'd really like to work with you. So I was really taken aback and kind of totally starstruck that Pearl Soho was texting me. But obviously, who would say no to Pearl Soho, right? So I accepted, and I got the yarn already. I wasn't thinking the yarn would come so quickly, but it is here. So, sorry, I keep like bending over like this, but like all my stuff is down here. So these are the two beautiful colors I got for the bandana cowl. This is the Pearl Soho Plenty, which is 100% extra fine merino wool. And this is like, I would call this Aran weight. It's knit on US 8 or 9 needles. This colorway is called Fresh Pickle, and this colorway is called Red Pine. Very, very nice primary color feels. I got two because I'm gonna make myself a cowl and I'll make one for Mr. Skeins of Dreams. I asked him which color he wants. He actually picked this bright red, which I'm really proud of him for doing. He said, "Oh, all my jackets are black, so maybe it'll be nice to do it in a bright color." So, and I picked the Fresh Pickle for me. What is happening? I'm doing green all the time, but more green. Yeah. So I'm super excited about this. Is super soft yarn. Like, I think you only need one skein for a cowl. But yeah, I'm gonna participate in the knit along, and I figured like a cowl is like an easy project. I can get it done super quickly. So that is the bandana cowl knit along. But then they said another project I can pick yarn for. So I picked yarn to do the Steven West mystery knit along, and I picked their quads line, which is the 65% wool, 35% suri alpaca, super soft, and these are my colors. So there is this nice dusty pink. This is called pink starfish, and this beautiful gray, which is called ash gray, and my contrast color is this beautiful chartreusey golden green. So again, green. I'm in a green mood. Yeah, so these are my colors. So this is my color A, color B, and then this is, or whichever order I'll see when the first clue comes out, and this is my contrast. So I have two skeins of the gray, two of the pink, and one of the golden green. And I'm super ready for the Steven West mystery knit along. But that also means I have to finish both my test knits in time, get a bunch done on Camilla's Mega Diamonds cardigan, knit my sock. The Birkin is something I selfishly cast on, so that's okay, but I will participate in this mystery knit along. And you already know that I didn't finish my last year's mystery shawl. So that's why I didn't want to participate. But when Pearl Soho came and said this, I was like, oh my god, I need to say yes. Because it was like, I mean, like I said, I was completely starstruck. So I'm planning to knit the shawl, but I think I will pick up the other one, and I want to finish it. I really like how the previous shawlography shawl turned out, and I do want to finish it. It'll be a piece of art. I don't think I'll wear that shawl, but I think I can hang it in my craft room. That'll be nice. So yeah, the mystery knit along is happening. Um, Come October, you will see me knitting on this project. Sorry for all the crinkling. I still put all the yarn in the plastic bag that it came in. All right. I thought I would quickly come and record a podcast, but nothing goes quickly, does it? I think that's all the knitting content there was. I have some sewing plans. Like I said, this weekend I want to sew few baby clothes. I have the patterns printed. I need to like tape them together. I need to wash the fabric first, and then I will um, make it. And then I have plans to make three dresses for myself to kind of go with all these sweaters I'm making. I want to kind of put together a fall wardrobe. So I picked some fabric from my stash that would go with all these sweaters that I'm making. Maybe I can quickly show you the fabric. Yeah, so I kind of wanted a simple linen dress. So I have this really nice beige linen fabric, which I bought from Joanne Fabrics, which is like a big fabric store in the US. It's like a chain of fabric stores all over the country. So I got some linen. This dress, once I finish it, it'll go with everything. It'll go with my Forest Finds cardigan, with uh, anything, like even with this one it will go. Now this cardigan is falling apart. I really think I need to put a um either afterthought buttons or a clasp on it. It's good that I'm wearing it now so that when I actually wear it out I will do whatever modifications it needs, or maybe I can thread some elastic to tighten the um neckline. Let me think about it. So yeah, this is the one linen dress. Then I have this very pretty cotton poplin, I think, in this beautiful magenta flowers and like water paint, watercolor kind of a feel. And I thought that this would go really well with my Forest Finds the deep wine cardigan. I thought this will look really cute. Actually, I might make this first so I can wear it to Vermont sheep and wool. Something to think about. So this is one thing. Then I have this very nice ditzy flower, navy floral kind of a, again cotton poplin, that I will use to make another dress. I think this orange cardigan will look really cute in it, cute with it. And then, I mean, it's a good navy. Oh, and Rebecca's Cargill sweater will look really nice with this because that's a light lavender, and then this is a darker color, so I think that sweater will go very well with this one. So yeah, so that is my sewing, those are my sewing fabric plans. Those are my sewing plans and those are my fabrics. But yeah, so that is um what is happening in my life. I am always busy, like constantly busy. I need to make some project bags, I need to make some clothes, I need to finish my knitting, um, and I have not cast on a blanket project. As you all know, my Blankets of Dreams make along is going on, and I finished the half and half wrap, and it's been weeks, and I have not decided or cast on a new blanket project just because I'm in like in a confusion what to knit next and what to crochet or knit. And honestly, as I said, I want to finish one of these things so that I can cast on another. And I'm actually working on my Garter Goodness shawl by Stephen West. um and I'm making slow progress on it. It's just a garter shawl, so I'm knitting on it whenever I have some time. So that is happening in the background, and I kind of want to finish that also because it's like a 5 skein project and I'm on skein 3, so I have 2 more skeins to go. So there is a lot happening, if you didn't realize already. I always come here and I have all these projects, and I sometimes get messages from people that they feel happy that I have so many whips because they don't feel too bad about it. Yeah, so I have a lot to do. So I think I will end my episode here because I have run out of things to talk about. Thank you so much for watching. If you've stuck around till the end, heard all the things that I have to talk about, I hope you got a bunch of knitting done. And I will see you after the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival. Stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for all your love and support. I really, really appreciate it. Um, I hope you stay safe and happy crafting. Bye.